Hello everyone, and welcome to another GTA 3 video. A few years ago, I made a secret car walkthrough for the game, mainly looking at the various proofed cars you could get from missions. But I also included a few unobtainable vehicles, one being Catalina's helicopter from the final mission in the game, the Exchange. It's unobtainable because there's no way to enter it. But wait, what if there was? Fast forward to 2024, and just a few weeks ago, a user named GTA Melancholia uploaded a video by the name of Grand Theft Auto 3 entering Catalina's helicopter. Yes, really. But if that video already exists, why am I making one too? 3 reasons. Simply because I wanted to try it out myself. Also because I wanted to test it on a different version of the game to the one featured in the video. And to provide you with a full tutorial to show you how it's done. So thank you to GTA Melancholia for the strategy. Okay, let's get into it. What we need to do is progress the storyline until we get to the final mission, the Exchange. But not just that, we also need to get to the mission Toyminator from the payphone in Shoreside Vale. Let's begin Toyminator now. As I mentioned in my previous video, GTA 3 mission facts and hacks, there's a glitch you can perform with this mission. We need to get into the toys van and then get out very quickly. If you're fast enough, you'll fail the mission, but the RC Bandit won't disappear. You can still control it too. It's still bound to your controller. X accelerates the RC Bandit, square reverses it, and circle blows it up, so don't press that. Left and right move it. You guessed it, left and right. Another thing about the RC Bandit is that it will now not despawn from the map, much like the Rhino does when it's spawned via the cheat. So what we need to do is walk it over to the Cochrane Dam, which incidentally was named after GTA 3 developer Adam Cochrane. The tricky bit is trying to get it up 2 flights of steps. But once you get used to controlling it on foot, it's not as hard as it looks. Although do be prepared to reverse multiple times to get the best angles. Once it's up there, we need to leave and go and find a car. Of course, the controls are still bound to the RC Bandit. So while we're off finding a vehicle, the RC Bandit is going to be moving all around this roof. But don't worry. There's a raised edge that runs all around the roof of this building, so there's next to no chance of the RC Bandit going over the edge. During my attempt when I was running back along the roads, I noticed that all the peds and traffic had despawned, which was really strange. I'm not sure if this was a one-off or not, but if this happens to you, you can fix it by saving the game, then loading it again. Don't worry, the RC Bandit should still be there where you left it. Again, it's the same as the Rhino that gets spawned with the cheat. It saves like a car in your garage. Okay, so we need a car that's capable of driving up the dam wall. Another glitch at play here. A good example is the Stinger, which can be found at this house in Cedar Grove. Head down to the bottom of the dam here and just drive up it. If you haven't tried this glitch before, it can take a couple of tries to get it to work, but once you've got the knack, you can do it almost every time. Once we're up there, we just need to find our RC Bandit. It'll be around here somewhere. Now it's just a matter of getting the RC Bandit into position. There is a way which we can get it to stop moving whenever we press a button, so we can keep it in one place. What you want to do is to move it over near these vents. Are they vents? They look like vents. Over near these things anyway. So park the Stinger next to these vents like this, then get out and drive the RC Bandit underneath it. Now from the front or the rear of the Stinger, walk into it and press triangle. This might take a few tries, but sometimes you will teleport into the RC Bandit. Another benefit of using the Stinger, not just for climbing the dam, is that teleporting into the RC Bandit by using the Stinger seems to be a lot easier than with other cars I've tried. Maybe it's just easier with smaller cars in general. Now we're actually driving the RC Bandit. This is something you can do outside what we're doing here if you just wanted to drive around for a while in it. Be aware though, if you try to get out of the RC Bandit, the game will crash. Presumably because it doesn't have any doors. So what we need to do is park it back underneath the Stinger, then press triangle to get out. Claude will teleport out of the RC Bandit and the game will not crash. Now the RC Bandit is no longer bound to our controls, so it will stay exactly where we leave it. So we can drive off in the Stinger and begin the exchange. We can just skip the cutscene, run straight to the gate and waste these two guys here. The cutscene where Catalina flies off in the helicopter will play. And after this we can get into the Stinger and head back down to the bottom of the dam again. Once we're there, we need to do the same thing as before and climb up the wall of the dam to get to the rooftop. All the cartel members and even Maria do not spawn if you get up to the dam this way. Also, the cutscene where Catalina says, "Get this thing airborne," won't play either. That means the helicopter is just sat right there. For the most part, it isn't solid. However, there's one small solid bit in the middle. If you press triangle to attempt to get in the helicopter, Claude will just walk back and forth like this around the solid bit in the middle. Using the Stinger, we can even push the helicopter, thanks again to that one solid section. We need to try to push it over to the vent where our RC Bandit is waiting. Now, I'll try and explain what we're going to do next by referencing my previous video. In the mission Arms Shortage, there's a rhino at the army base, and its doors are locked. A method of acquiring it is to use a car to block one of its doors, and the pole on the other side blocks the other door. Then, by pressing triangle while walking into the front or rear of the tank, you can teleport inside, although it does take persistence and patience. That's what we're going to try to emulate with the helicopter. Even though the helicopter doesn't have functioning doors, we still need to block each side. If we don't, then Claude will attempt to open a non-existent door, and the game will crash. So here we go. We need to use the Stinger to push the heli over towards the vent where our RC Bandit is. The vent is going to block the left side door of the heli, and the Stinger is going to be blocking the right side door of the heli. We also need to position the helicopter so the RC Bandit is directly beneath the solid section in the middle. For some reason, positioning the RC Bandit under vehicles allows you to enter them when you otherwise can't. I have heard that you can even enter the train by doing the same thing. So that's why we needed the RC Bandit. Without it, we couldn't get in the heli. So everything is lined up. The RC Bandit is underneath the solid part of the heli. The vent is blocking one side, and the Stinger is blocking the other. We need to walk towards the solid section and keep pressing triangle. Sometimes, Claude will just get into the Stinger. Sometimes, Claude will teleport onto the RC Bandit instead. But if you're really patient and persistent, just sometimes, Claude will teleport into the helicopter. The first thing to note is that the helicopter actually has a name that shows on screen. And it even has a radio too. You can see Claude sat in there as well. Changing the camera allows us to see other views of the heli. Perhaps best of all is the top-down view. And to address the elephant in the room, no, sadly you cannot fly it. You can't even move it. But still, we're actually in the heli. From this camera angle, you can press L2 or R2 to view either side. And pressing L2 and R2 together to look backwards just gives you a close-up of Claude's face. It's like a jump scare, or when you accidentally turn on your front-facing camera. So, here we are. We are actually in Catalina's helicopter. Something I never thought was possible. Just one last thing to say on this. What happens when the timer gets down to 0? The helicopter disappears and you automatically get wasted. How about that? Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again to GTA Melancholia, and see you next time.